Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Cobra Daytona build. California, it is January 15th. I think it's got to be 75 degrees out here right now. No stitch of wind, unbelievable. I could be wearing shorts, but they're all put away. So on this episode, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I'm going to put a 1/2 inch spacer in here. Right now I've been running a 1/4, and you can see the wheel's still catching up in here. And I'm thinking if I space it out another 1/4 inch, I might be able to clear that spot. It's going to be close, might have to go a little bit more, but then it'll be flush with the fender. I think it'll be a better look. It'll match the front. So I can't put 1/2 inch spacer on these short aftermarket studs. So we're going to press these out. I got some long ARPs. And then I can put any type slip-on spacer on, whether it's 1/2, 5/8, 3/4. I can mess with the back spacing at that point. So I'm going to have to take this off. We'll get the rotor off, press out the studs, and then we'll pull in the ARPs, and I'll show you how all this is done, because in the long run, I think the ARPs are nice. They're super long. They actually almost go to the end of the wheel. So yeah, we'll get this thing going. I'm going to wipe all this stuff down first, because it's just, this is, as you can see, that's the brake dust from the track. And these are supposedly not dusting pads, BP10s, but yeah. So thanks for watching. We'll get this episode going, and thanks again. Bye. So here's the studs I'm using. The ARP's 100-7703, 1/2 inch Ford Chrysler with discs. The issue is the knurl here is bigger. So I'm going to have to remount that hub a little bit. So I got a reamer for that. And then I don't know who makes the spacer here. So here's the 1/2 inch spacer, hub centric. So this will go on once the studs are there. But I've got to actually grind a little flat on the back side of these because they overhang into the hub seal a little bit. I'm afraid they'll tear up the hub. So I just take a little bit off. I'll show that. So as you can see, I've taken the head of the stud and just a little flat spot there, just to give me more clearance around the seal. So those are all prepped, ready to go. I got those all done. Now we'll go and we'll start taking the brakes apart. So the EP electronic parking brake is there. This has got 2 bolts. I think it's what they call a radial mount. That's what Willwood calls this. These get torqued to 30 feet-pounds, by the way, so don't get crazy when you're putting these things back on. And then I got some wire to hang this so it's out of the way. And there are washers, spacers, and everything in here, so be careful that these things go back the way they're supposed to go, just so you know. Yeah, there's washers underneath the nut, and then there's spacers between the... Here, I'll show you here in a second. Put you back on my head. I'm going to slide down so you can see what's going on here. Easy. So this whole thing is just going to slide out. Oh, look at the mess. See, and there's washers here, washers there, and then you got spacers here, which I did that when I set the brakes up. You could probably go to my original videos when I installed all this stuff, and you'll be able to find how you spaced out the calipers so they don't hit the... You never want to let these things droop by the brake lines. Definitely not a good thing to do. So I usually just hang them, get them out of the way. And then in here, we got our rotor. And that, I dropped that. That is from the electronic parking brake pad. Just gonna set those there. And as you can see, the brake dust makes a mess. Hate to say it, it's just the nature of the beast when you drive a car hard. Yeah, just messy. This is where I got very scared yesterday. I got the studs out, and then I realized I couldn't get the long ones back in. No matter where I placed them, they were hitting back into here before. Well, if I try coming right from this angle and keep them down low, I can barely fit them in, because I thought I was going to have to pull the whole hub off. It was going to be a nightmare. It was going to turn in from an easy job to a mammoth job. But then all of a sudden I realized I could sneak them in just this way. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to pull these things out next. Let me get a C-clamp, a couple little spacers, and I'll show you what I rig up. Okay, so here's what I've made. I got a nut on the front here that I'm going to use a C-clamp here, and then this is going to go around the back side like so. And then I can put the C-clamp on and just drive this out, and that way I'm not beating on these and trashing on the bearings. Okay, so you can see I have the tool set up. I got my spacer set up there. This is on the nut. Now I can just crank this thing down and just push that stud out. Drive them all out. Then I'm going to ream this. I'll show you guys how we're going to ream that and slide the new studs in, reassemble, and done. So, you know, you guys are getting the full package here. I'm probably going to clean all the brakes up too before I reassemble, but let me get cranking. I probably won't be able to see it because I think it's going to, yeah, I think I'm going to be up into here. I'm going to need to crank on this thing. So, sorry about this, but you won't be able to see this one. So I got the one out. We'll just continue on with the other four, and so I can show you the problem right now. So you see this. See, it doesn't even fit until I open the hole up. It's that close. Actually, it does. But the knurl, yeah, that's the only place that stud will fit in here, is through this one little tiny gap. And then if you look back into there, you see the seal. That's why you have to take this and grind a flat on it, because the original ones came, I don't know if I can, I think I actually grounded those down too to clear that seal. So, don't know, but we'll get the rest of these things pushed out of here. Okay, so I got all the studs out. Now we're going to start reaming out these holes so we can pull in the other studs. Okay, well, I realized I didn't have a drill big enough to fit the reamer, so I'm doing this by hand. So it's a little bit of inward pressure. It's not going to be the cleanest hole, but oh, we're actually through. Okay, so definitely not the cleanest of holes. So now what we do is I feed this stud in this way, and then we put a couple of washers on, and I should be able to just yank this thing on in, and then we got a bolt in, making sure I have the flat against the seal. So I got a nut on there. Just gonna hit this with a torque wrench. It's sucking it in. Okay, one done. So now we'll start reaming the next hole. Hopefully you could see that. I don't know if you could or not, but now we'll start reaming this hole, suck it on through. We'll just continue on this way. The studs are all in, pull them through. I'm gonna clean everything up. A lot of little metal shavings, chips all over the ground from reaming these things out. But then we'll put I'm gonna clean up the rotor. Probably gonna sand both sides. I'm thinking about changing brake pads in the rear too to some Hawk HP Pluses. And then we'll clean up everything, reassemble, and we've got this, which will go into here. Ooh. Oh, one of these studs might not be in so straight. There we go. Yeah, and then what we'll do is I will clean it all up and go for it. And that'll give me 1/2 inch. Now I've got the stud length, by the way, where I can put probably a 3/4, maybe even an inch, because these lug nuts come way down here right now. So there'll be plenty of room to further space it out if I need to. But I said I think this is going to bring it down almost flush with the body. So I think this should be perfect, and then hopefully stop all this rubbing. But we'll see. So yeah, 335 is definitely a challenge to get underneath these cars. Little bugs to work out. Okay, so I've got my hub studs in, ready to go. We're going to throw the rotor on. It's all been cleaned. Probably didn't need to be, but oh, with my finger. There we go. So now my spacer. There we go. So it gives me 1/2 inch, and as I said, I can go up to probably 1 inch, maybe even more, and still have enough stud length. So yeah, should be very, very nice. I got options now. I can, go less, more, but I think 1/2 inch should put me in the sweet spot. So, but we'll see. So I'll get these brakes bolted back up, and we'll call this job done. Okay, so the electronic parking brake caliper is on. I don't have it torqued yet. But I'll get that done next, actually plugged back in. So I'm actually going to do this caliper now. It needs to be cleaned pretty bad. As I said, track days are brutal with brake dust. And I don't like leaving things filthy like that. Try to get it cleaned back up to where it's like new again. But it definitely takes a little bit of time. So, as I said, I did not have this thing hanging there. So now I got this. What I'll do is I'll go through and I'm going to clean behind the... Okay, so that's just about done. So let me tell you, I've been using these, what they call tuner lug nuts. They're kind of cool, and they've got this spline wrench that works on them. The problem is these aren't anywhere near long enough to cover the entire length of that stud sticking out. So I have to go to an open end standard, and they actually have to be a 3/4 inch wrench, not 13/16, or they hit. So I'll put these on, and then we'll drop it down, show you what we've got. So looking good though. Definitely a good mod, but a little bit of work. So thanks. Okay, so we've got the spacers done. As you can see here, I actually kind of like it. If you look, you can see the tips of the studs sticking out. Kind of a cool look, different. But now you can see the tire is now almost dead even with the outer fender lip. The car is still up on jacks on the front. It hasn't been rolled, so it's still too high, but it'll come down once I move it. But yes, now if I have to space this out another 1/4 or out 1 inch, 2, whatever, I can put slip-on spacers there and be done. So I think we'll call this project done. So as I said, I prefer the slip-on spacer over bolt-on. I find it to be much safer. Highly recommend it. You only got 5 bolts instead of 10. So thanks again for watching. Hit subscribe, and we'll keep the videos coming as I keep making changes and improvements.